So I said this before, and I'll definitely say it again. We, as American people, as civilians, as just regular everyday people, day to day people, we are missing it. We are missing the entire big picture. We're steady being caught up on, we're steady caught up on the basic Republican and Democrat. We're caught up on it, and it's so basic. It's so basic and tired and played out, and we're missing it. We're looking at the different parties that come into office and how they run the country, and we're under the impression that they're calling shots and they're running the country. And we're missing, it's just a simple transaction that we're missing. They don't run anything. It's simple dots that we're just not connecting. I don't know what happens in our brains to think, with everything that's been going on, with people doing these mass shootings, people kidnapping children, people touching and molesting these children, people um domestic violence and just the crime rate, selling drugs in this country, to when everything something goes wrong, people are looting. We actually think that this country would allow us. We actually think that this country will allow us to choose who's going to actually run the country. When in reality, the only thing that we're choosing is a glorified public relations guy. That is it. Every single president that has served is simply a public relations guy. Glorified public relations, but that's it. There is no real shots that they are calling. There are decisions being made, and they're the ones vocalizing that they want that decision made, but that call wasn't made by them. We keep looking at these guys, the Republicans and the Democratic Party, like they're making just, and they're naturally making decisions, and those decisions are causing and affecting our country in various ways. And we got to realize that that's not the case. None of these parties do anything, they only do what they're instructed to do. We forget that there are people who are not going to be in the forefront. They're not going to be on Twitter. They're not going to be in front of a camera, on a microphone, giving speeches, reading teleprompts. There are people who will never be in those spots. Those are the ones who are really pulling the strings. And they pull the strings in a way that they know we will respond to in a certain way. They know if they have a certain president doing XYZ, that the people and the general public is going to respond a certain way. And then if you get rid of that president and present a new one, people are going to take to this president in XYZ type of way. And then this president is going to carry out these actions, which is going to bring out this perception towards they. It's just simple, basic stuff. Simple and basic stuff. And they know how you will respond. They know the general idea of what you're going to think and say. And with us having this Republican and Democratic division in the country, it's real easy. You can get a Republican to actually be saying the right things, doing the right things, setting the right things in order. But the fact that it's a Republican The Democratic Party automatically, just by default, with no thought, no really, no thought process towards it, will reject it and complain about it constantly, as well as vice versa. It could be a person in the Democratic Party, like what we have now. You got Joe Biden in office, and the stuff that he's doing is blatantly stupid looking, blatantly irresponsible looking. It's for a reason. Trump came in office, and there was a lot of people who really didn't like him and did not like the way he came across. So they wanted something different. And just anybody could have came along. They knew that we would pick him, brought him into office, and now he's just first came into office. It was just executive orders back to back. I want to say it was like 90 something, probably more executive orders. And we're not realizing stages are being set, moments are being prepared for, transitions are being prepared for. The world leaders know what's going on. It's always the general public. We're the only ones that's out here acting like this stuff is naturally occurring events. And none of it is. None of this stuff is naturally occurring. We be missing it, bro. We be missing it completely. It was a segment I was just watching about Joe and how something else he mishandled. So somebody else was doing a reporting segment and was saying the Democrats this and the Democrats that and the Democrats this. And whenever the Democrats get on screen, they're just like, well, the Republicans this and the right wing this. And it's just like, we're missing it. Right now, we're being WWE'd. You got an organization, you got glorified public relations guy, one red and a blue one, or this party and that party, and they know that we will respond a certain way when one person says this, the other party says that. We're not realizing that all of this is dang near script. I want you to go and I want you to cause a little bit of friction with this country. The general public and the military are clueless. Clueless. The military is one of the organizations where they may have questions. They may see things that look kind of off, but it won't matter. You have to do what you're told. That's what you sign up for. It's dang near a fraternal order. You have to do what you're told. That's just point blank, period. That's what you signed up for. Yeah, there's an honor and there's a prestige and it looks real honorable and you're serving your country. But the truth about it is the government and these higher ups took an organization that is meant to do something and exploited them since day one. You got a group and an organization that is set up, trained, and specialized in protecting the country, serving the president, the commander in chief. And they figured out a way to take that and exploit it. And so when we join the military, there is a prestige that comes with it. There is an honor that comes with it. There is this sort of validation that we get from the general public. I'm saying we like I'm in the military. My father was. I wasn't. Thank you to everybody that served. But there is a prestige and an honor and a certain vibe that comes from the general public towards military officials. Because it does seem honorable. It does seem something that you can comfortably set your pride in. There are a great set of skill sets that you acquire. There is great leadership that comes from it. But the exploitation is still there. That doesn't get rid of the exploitation. We have great men and great women who serve and are exploited. Their loyalty is exploited. And they're not giving straight answers. They're not giving accurate information. They're giving lies. And they're told to blindly follow it. Don't question it, just follow it. We're being WWE'd. All these world leaders and these higher up and these elites, these are the ones who are high or who are part of the organization. And every person in every country who's a part of the general population, every citizen, we are the audience. And we see one party going against another party, or one country against another country, or the former president in comparison to the current president, and we're all outside of the ring in the audience. And we're given the impression that this is a natural occurring event. That this person is actually lost their mind, or this person is actually doing this, when in reality, there are strings that are being pulled from offices and positions that we have no knowledge of, or very little knowledge. If you do have knowledge, the information is done in such a way where you're just not interested and it's just boring to even engage in and try to figure out. We're missing it. We're so caught up on Republican and Democrat is so primitive. Even the colors. You look at sports teams. There's a certain color theme that each team has that helps their fans quickly identify this is that team. And then the people who are rooting for the other team, they know their colors and they identify with those colors. And we root for our teams. And anybody who's not a part of that team, no matter if they're actually good and they worked hard and they earned that chance, we naturally will root against them. That's just what we do. Even if our team is just trash, we still hold on and we root for our teams. And the same thing is being transferred and translated into the political parties. The parties that, from our eyes, are making the decisions and running this country, but in reality, they aren't. But these are the guys that's presented to us, and they give it to us in red and in blue. And of course, we bump heads. You got the red team and the blue team. And for the people who are fans of the red team can do no harm. And for those who are part of the blue team can do no harm. When the blue team messes up, the red team completely highlights it, blows it up, and makes a whole spectacle out of it. Same thing for the red team. The blue team will do the same thing. And we're missing it. We're doing this. We're out here doing the most basic WWE stuff. I keep saying them because in that ring, these guys are doing all types of stuff. They got a storyline going. These guys are fighting. They're battling it out in the ring. They're going for pinfalls, and somebody will kick out. And it seemed like this a whole event, a whole spectacle, and the audience is enjoying it. They're watching it unfold. But the truth is, this was rehearsed weeks prior. And the only ones who don't really know what's going to happen is us, the general population, out here acting like this is a naturally occurring event. And we're forgetting that this stuff has been planned. And we're just going along. And we're not paying attention. We're so walk around with closed eyes. We don't need anybody to be woke. We need you to be smart. We need people to use intelligence. Start using your brains, realizing what's happening around you. There are plenty of dots around us, and a lot of us just are impatient. Our attention spans are too short, and we're just so busy that we honestly don't care to try to connect any of those dots. They're around us. Pay attention to what's happening. Stop taking everything for face value. Stop looking at Joe Biden. Stop worrying about Trump. You got to realize that none of these people matter. None of them matter. The decisions that they're making aren't decisions that they are making. It's decisions that they were told to make. And we're just going along for the show. We got to get it together. We got to start learning to use some sort of intelligence. Use your head. Pay attention what's happening around you. Stop being so caught up on a red and a blue all the time. Or a white and a black. That narrative been pushed and catered to for so long, bro. Black people are naturally tired. We're tired of dealing with what we're dealing with. But the stuff that we're dealing with is orchestrated by a certain group of people. They know that you're going to be tired. They know that you're going to be pissed off. They know that you had enough. They don't care about you. They don't care about that. They're going to keep doing what they know is going to get you going, to push your buttons. All of it is going to lead up to certain circumstances, moments, certain momentums, certain intensities. They know that if they cater to this particular white audience, that they'll feed into it. They know that there is this natural hatred from this group of whites towards this group of blacks. And they'll naturally cater to it and feed into it because they know how they'll react. They know what they're going to do. They know the mindset that they're going to have. They know that they're going to teach that to their children. And they cater to it. They just feed it. And we go right along with it. They'll just feed it. And then they'll associate that particular group of whites and group of blacks with the color. Not white and it ain't black. Blue and red. In this country, for some odd reason, we can't even see past that sometimes. You go on any YouTube video, some kind of way, that red group and that blue group is mentioned and brought up some kind of way. We're missing it. We, as the general population, we're being played so well, and we don't care to try and figure out how and why, because all we can see, red and blue.